Good morning. It is 8:51 a.m. on Sunday, February 23rd, 2020. I'm Christiana Ellis, and I just got up. This is 5 more minutes. Because it is Sunday, I'm continuing my rewatch of Cowboy Bebop with Session 21, Boogie Woogie Feng Shui. It's okay. This is not one of the better episodes, I think. I'm not sure why it is exactly that, I like Jet as a character, but the episodes that kind of focus on his backstory kind of tend to not be the best ones. Ganymede Elegy, which was way back in session, let's see, which one was that? That was episode 10. That one's pretty good. I like that. But then Black Dog Serenade, also kind of like, this one, it's okay. It's not bad. I just, compared to the other episodes, it really has very little of what I think of as the greatness of this show. It's fine. It's competent, but to be honest, on my rewatch, I found my attention wandering. But let's talk about what happened. So we begin with Jet, who has received a strange message from an old friend that says, "Seek the holy beast of Anzan. I am where the four gods meet." And we learn that this guy, Pao, had been had a reputation as one of the 3 greatest feng shui masters on Mars. It's like, okay, so he's this and when he arrives though at the location, turns out, oh, this guy's actually dead. He's in a graveyard. So weird, right? How did he send the message if he was dead? They actually don't quite resolve the question that, they later say the message actually got out right before the accident, which claimed Pao's life. But then did it take a long time to arrive? The timeline is a little funky in this one. Maybe there's a throwaway line that explains it, and I missed it because I was only half paying attention, but whatever. But in any event, Mae Fah is a girl who appears at the same gravesite, and there is some fun stuff with her using this fancy little feng shui compass thing, this wooden disc that rotates on several axes and has a magnet in it, and using that to kind of, predict the future, almost like the precogs in Minority Report. That's some fun stuff. In any event, she sees Jet there and is like, "Hey, who are you? What are you doing at my father's grave?" And she intervenes just in the nick of time to save Jet from being killed by a couple of goons who are then proceed to chase them. And they have a chase where they're running away, running down the hill. They're getting shot at through the graveyard. It's fun. And then, they jump in the water and to escape. So, at this point, they bring them back to Jet brings Mae Fah back to the Bebop, and we learn a little bit more. Supposedly, he died. This guy, her father, died in a transport accident. Jet knew him and met her when she was just a very little kid. She doesn't remember. Meanwhile, we do have some fun with the other members of the Bebop, speculating on who she is and is there a romantic involvement, but she's too young for him, and just all that gossip in the background is kind of fun. But in any event, she says, okay, well, this message was sent right before this accident where he's supposedly dead, but, what if maybe it's because he actually survived and he's just trying to give a clue to how to track him down. And, it's a bunch of nonsense of the MacGuffin. It's the Sunstone. There was something to do. The disappearance had something to do with the Sunstone, and we later find out that it kind of didn't really. And it's all just kind of a little bit of a mishmash with stuff. It's fine though. Like again, it works in the moment, but it's not terribly compelling. But in the meantime, so they, Jet goes and there's a fun ice cream conversation where Jet and Mae Fah are eating ice cream cones while they talk a little bit about universal feng shui and qi and all of that, and then they follow the clues of the message, which she can interpret a bit more to a certain location, and then a direction leads them to this weird hidden black rock that she says is the Sunstone. And we later learn is actually a moon rock from that had been exposed to the astral gate explosion that messed up the moon. And that's kind of interesting, saying that it has unique properties because of being exposed to that accident. And, it's like, all right. So we learn a little bit more that, the Blue Snake crime syndicate is actually still after them. Jet knows this because what he knows is that her father was actually involved with the Blue Snake crime syndicate. And there's a whole bit where, he was actually an informant for the police when Jet was still a cop, but that might have gotten him into trouble. And, but as what anybody wants is still kind of unclear. When they're trying to figure out what to do with the Sunstone, the character of Ein, our data dog Corgi, is such a unique little narrative gift because, of course, it's just delightful and cute inherently, but also gives them the opportunity to just do random things to short circuit puzzles like this. It's like, well, he's super smart, so he figures it out, but he does it in a dog-like way. So he grabs the rock. Everyone thinks he's just running away with it, but he actually carries it over to buy this little compass, which spins even without the magnet. And then they say, oh, well, if we put that in the center instead of the magnet, all right. And then that leads them to, they decide to follow that like a compass. And they're pursuing in hyperspace, trying to follow this direction. This is where we get a little bit more of how Mae Fah actually has really conflicted feelings about tracking him down because, she never really was that close with her father. And there was when, she always thought he was kind of neglectful. And then when his mom left and took her with him, she felt like he never looked for us, even though we weren't hiding or anything. And so it made me feel like he didn't actually really care. And the fact that he might have survived but sent this coded message to Jet instead of to her hurts her feelings a little bit. But this is where Jet kind of explains it may have been that if the Snake crime syndicate got wise to what he had been doing, leaking information, he may have been in danger, and he was worried that if he reached out to you, it would put you in danger, as you've been in danger since getting back involved with this. And there's a little bit of an interesting connection there to talking about what it's like to be in the syndicate. Can you ever really get out and everything? Because of course we know Spike was a member of not the Blue Snake, but different syndicate. And so, a little bit of a connection there. But in the meantime, so we get a little action sequence where, the syndicate's still coming after them. There's robot ships for some reason. We get a little bit of the space fighter action, which is, seems like it's contractually required to be in every episode, and it's fine. But then there's some sort of a random plan that, again, why does this ever make sense? It's like, well, we have to put enough energy into the Sunstone, so let's throw it out into the hyperspace void and have Spike shoot at it with his ship's plasma gun, and that is going to do something. And what it does is create this little vortex, which sucks up all the robot ships, and not the Bebop, I guess, and then reveals, oh, Pao's ship, her dad's ship, is stuck in this vortex just long enough for him to have one last conversation with Jet and Mae Fah. And he reveals, that, yeah, he had sent that message just before getting stuck in this vortex, hoping that it would lead Jet to find him. And, at this point, though, it's like he tries to claim that, like, he somehow knew she would get involved, and therefore, it counts as him trying to draw her to him. But Jet's like, you could have been clear, man. You could have just, you didn't have to try to use Feng Shui to manipulate them. And, at this point, Mae Fah gets to have a little bit of agency in terms of she decided to seek him out, not because he drew her to him. And then they get to have a moment of peace, and then I guess, like, oh, but no, it's too late, nothing can be done. It's a good thing you arrived in time, because I literally only have seconds to live. I'm being a little bit dismissive of what's supposed to be the big emotional moment of the episode, but again, it just, like, it doesn't feel like it has that much weight to it. I think part of the problem is that ultimately my question about whether or not the show intends this, the universal Feng Shui and Qi and everything, does the show intend us to believe that it's real or not? And I feel like that kind of undercuts any actual emotional drama we might have. And then the punchline at the end of Jet saying, well, if one thing's changed, I no longer have any interest in horoscopes. And we're like, well, because that was a big thing we knew about Jet before, is that he liked horoscopes. So ultimately, I don't know. This is not one of the better episodes, in my opinion. It has some fun stuff in it. It's not terrible, but all things considered, in a great show that has many great episodes, this one is below average for the show, I think. But that's fine. It's all fine. If we wanted some silly stuff, we'll just have to wait until next week for Cowboy Funk, which has some very silly stuff. So I'm going to leave it there for now, and I will talk to you all tomorrow for 5 more minutes. And of course, maybe just before signing off, give you a view of my own little data dog. Here, buddy. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. There we go. Here's my data dog. Are you a data dog? Are you very smart? Are you a genius? I'm going to eat my hair to prove it. So this is where we'll learn that my hair is actually like the secret formula for, some life-changing mystery. All right. Talk to you tomorrow for 5 more minutes.